We went over making prints of your artwork with your phone and Canva, but what if you have Procreate? The good thing about Procreate is that it is also an editing software, so it actually is very useful. Now, for anyone who does not have an iPad, you actually can't get Procreate, but there are similar programs: Canva Affinity, Photoshop if you have an Adobe subscription. I believe GIMP is also an app. Open up your image. You can either start a new artboard and add your image to it, or just open the image in Procreate. To add the image, you're gonna go to this wrench, either take a photo, insert a photo. Next, you're gonna hit this little magic thing, and then all your settings are gonna be here. First thing we're gonna fix is going to be our values. So same as in Photoshop, this is called a histogram. What you're seeing whenever this is all blank right here is that you do not have darkest darks. Your darkest dark is actually like a gray. And then same deal up here. This gap right here means that your whites are actually mostly blue. So what we can do to adjust this is you could just pull this over and it's going to darken the entire image. Same with the whites, you can just pull it over and it will make the whites whiter. But since what we're seeing is that those whites are mostly blue, we're actually going to go over to the blue histogram. So we're going to pull that blue down to be a little more even. We're going to come over with the white just a little. And here's what each of these do. So this is the red selected. If you go this way, it's going to add more red tone. If you go this way, it's going to take it away. If you go down, it's going to reduce the amount of red. And if you go up, it's going to increase the amount of red. So for example, if I thought this looked too green, what I could do is just come over and reduce the green just slightly. After you think your values look good, you can go over to color balance. And same thing as I was kind of doing on Canva, you can adjust your colors around. But it looks like for Procreate, they do it by shadows, midtones, and highlights. So this is how you're getting those duotone things that some people do for their film effects. So this is another way that you could change those whites. Say you think there's too much red, you would add a little bit of cyan. If you think there's too much green, you would add a little bit of magenta. And that's true for all of these. Something to be aware of, you can't just remove these adjustments the same way that you can in Photoshop or Canva. There's also hue, saturation, and brightness. So one thing that I want to do is leave this yellow, but everything else be black and white. So what I could do is duplicate this layer, hide that top one for a second, go back to the bottom, bring the saturation all the way to 0, go back to this top layer, tap on the layer, and add a mask. Go ahead and just make that whole mask black, because what it's going to do is reveal the layer that's underneath, and then switch your brush color to white, and you can just color where you want that mask to disappear. So I could add all of that yellow back in. Being so honest, I never think of Procreate to edit my photos and my prints and stuff. And it's because I have Photoshop, but it honestly is a really good program and it's very simple to use. So then we end up with something like this. One thing I do want to do though, is I actually do want to redo this background because I had painted some of it with acrylic paint. I use acrylic markers for other parts and I couldn't decide what I even liked. So I'm actually gonna cut out the drawing period, then create a new background for it. This is allowed, it's your artwork. You're still doing art to your artwork. Whether you do it with physical media or digital media, it doesn't matter. Truthfully, it is your artwork. Do what you want to do with it. Some people are gonna be mad that I said it, but I said it. I also meant to crop this, so to crop your image, you're just gonna do this arrow and then you can move it around until you like what it is. So we're gonna duplicate this layer again, add a mask. And the reason you do a mask instead of just erasing is because masks are non-destructive. So if you wanted to get rid of something, you could. Whereas if you erase it, you have to hit the undo button just to get to the point that you made a mistake. Hide that for now. I'm going to select the color of this background, which is actually like a soft gray, create a new layer, drop that color in. I think that was pure white. There we go. Now you can go to this layer, select your mask, your paintbrush, and you're gonna select pure white. I definitely was trying to do this the way I do it in Photoshop, which is you can turn down the opacity of the mask to see the transparent version of it, which you cannot do in Procreate apparently. You could turn that mask white again and then go back in with the black brush to cut things out, which I suppose that's what I'll do. And then you would use that black brush to go over anything that you don't want. I would suggest some type of brush that has a little bit of a rough edge, nothing too clean. Since this is traditional media, I want it to keep looking like traditional media, and you can zoom in and clean it up as much as you would like. And the good thing about doing a mask is if you make a mistake like this, all you have to do is switch that brush color and then you can change it back. And that's why you do a mask instead of just erasing. Accidentally covered up her nose. Once you have a drawing completely cut out, you can go back to this bottom layer that we made gray and add kind of whatever you want. The world is oyster after this point. You can add several different layers, polka dots, stripes, or just make it a solid color. I'm gonna keep working on it a little bit, but this is the print that's gonna be in my mail club this month for September. My mail club is for artists. It has a monthly prompt list for the basic one, and then for the plus, it also has market insights for artists that work more with the retail calendar. I've been doing art licensing and working with the retail calendar with wholesale for a really long time, so it's market research that I was gonna do anyway, so now I'm sharing it with other artists. If you're interested, the sign up is in my link.